All right, everyone, if you've just joined us, my name is Michael Caselli, and I'm chairing the day. We're trying to use a program called Slido to get questions up to our audience. So if you would like to ask questions without raising your hand, you can go to sli.do and type in a question with the hashtag LAC2017. And that would be a great way to come and ask us questions, or just raise your hand and I'll come around with a microphone. We can do it either way. So let me introduce my panel. To my immediate left, we have Judith Lewis, and she is the founder of Decabbit Consultancy. To her left, we have Christopher Madsen, and he's the head of SEO for Fable Affiliates. To his left, what's that? Did I get it wrong?
I got it wrong.
To the left, I've got Paul Madden. He's the founder of Kerboo. And to his left, of course, our last speaker, Christoph Cemper, is the CEO and founder of LinkResearchTools, and who's generously going to be giving away T-shirts for good questions. So you can send it anonymously, or you can raise your hand, but make sure you get a T-shirt. We're going to try a few new things this panel, and I'm going to start by asking our panelists to choose a topic in which they would like to be the expert on for this panel. I'm going to then ask them to explain what their topic of expertise is, so that people that without as much SEO experience get a background about what we're talking about. And then I'm going to ask the other rock stars on my panel to ask the questions to that particular expert about whatever topic he or she should choose. We are calling this Rockstars Ask Rockstars, and it's going to be amazing. So, Judith, why don't we start with you? Can you please tell us what you would like to focus on for the next few minutes, and a little bit of the background on that topic?
What do I want to focus on? What do I want to focus on? I'll go with, I don't know. Obviously, I'm speaking about PR and SEO and link building and outreach and things like that. So I'll go with gray hat link building through outreach. So, using PR and traditional techniques to build links rather than buying them. Although I am a firm advocate of buying links. Obviously, thank you very much for selling me links over all those years. I appreciate it.
Okay.
And why is it important? Is that what you want?
Sure, you could add why it's important, of course.
Well, Christoph, that was his whole talk. So, but what did you want? Just explain something about it.
You've done well. You're going to talk about PR and outreach.
Now.
And you talked a little bit about what is PR and outreach, which is great. Christopher, if you could do the same.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris from Fable Affiliates. I'll talk about the black hat stuff. How to get the dirty links, private blog networking, using various link building programs, how to get them unnaturally, and some naturally if you want to. Yeah, that's probably the black hat version of SEO over here. If you have any questions on black hat, come say hello afterwards. Just look for the big griffin in the hall.
Brilliant. So black hat covered. Paul, what is it that you would like to be the expert upon or on?
Christoph and I are just discussing who should do what, because we have very similar backgrounds and very similar experience. Yeah. So Christoph, you want to do?
Yeah. Well, we're both in the.
Stone.
Yeah. Am I on? Yeah. We're both basically software providers for link audit software. Have a lot of experience from thousands of penalties. So we're both basically the experts for link audits and Google penalties. That's what it is. Yeah, it would be Kerboo or LinkResearchTools and Link Detox, Paul and Christoph. I would suggest when it comes to link audits, there is a technical part, the doing thing, working with the software, working with all these millions of links, and then there is a business side to that. And I would like to be your coach for the ultimate link audit business blueprint today, if you want. How do I sell a link audit to my client? How do I make money as an agency selling link audits, if you want? Yeah, the sales part, so to say, because I found that it's hard. It's hard in some cases. Like this example is a true example, the 500K from 70 million. Yeah. Let's try that.
I'll do the technical side of link audit stroke link building then.
And if it goes wrong, then we just
swap.
switch around.
Don't worry, it's a brand new experimental, first time ever format.
Can I add something quick?
Absolutely.
So they are more on the agency selling kind of view on SEO. I'm from a casino and a bingo affiliate program, so I'm in the business. So I'm not any salesman at all, but I'm working in the casino business in UK with mixed casino and bingo brands, just so you know.
Good. So you've got everyone's background and you've got what we're going to talk about. Now, part of this, at any point, you could raise your hand and ask an expert about their topic, but I'm also going to ask the other experts to query some high-level questions on what their colleagues are doing and being an expert on this evening, or this afternoon. So let's start with questions for Judith from our panel. Let's ask her anything about her gray hat, PR, and outreach techniques.
Sure, I have one actually. It's an interesting case. It's getting more and more popular in the business. People donating to high page rank pages in order to get some links, which is obviously the links all your competitors will get, as Christoph said in his presentation, a month after. Why would these work? Why do people keep doing it? And should they keep doing it?
Why would these work? I don't know why. Well, they work, clearly. They don't, actually. I think 2 days ago, someone took a penalty for doing that. So my ethos has always been, if you do too much of one thing, which I've done, I've been guilty of that, too much of one thing, you'll get busted. So pigs get fatter, hogs get slaughtered. If you're going to buy links, buy wisely. If you're going to buy sponsorship links, buy from somebody who hasn't been burned, but don't make it obvious. Don't buy 60 million or even 10 at the same time. Just like do it slow and steady, wins the race. But do some good. I have a client who buys sponsorship of a football team, but because he also is a local to that football team, it's not just the link. The link is awesome, but it's also because he's doing it for a real reason. So if you as an affiliate want to go out and buy something, first of all, hopefully you're a brand. And I cover that later, but hopefully you're a recognized brand and then buy the link. But be a brand first before you start doing PR link acquisition, shall I say, rather than just buying. But yeah, those sponsorship things on high PR sites don't work or won't be working as well now as they were.
Well, yeah, it's also the case of why would you want a link from a guy who makes icons for your casino site? I mean, it's not relevant at all, and that's why they get the penalty. Suddenly they have 50 different high page rank links. Well, page rank is, let's say, TrustFlow or DA. They have 50 links from sites that are no relevancy to their casino or bingo site at all, and that's why they get the penalty. And we've been seeing this. Yeah.
Did they make pretty pictures for your bingo site? Because if they made cute little icons, maybe it's worth it then. No, it's never worth it.
Here's a question. You said something interesting. You said be a brand first. Can you explain that? And when are you a brand? How do you be a brand? What's that mean?
Do I get to refer to my previous LAC talk?
You do, but no other conferences but LAC.
No, of course.
Nothing that competes with us.
Because I spoke about how an affiliate can become a brand 2 years ago, I think it was, at LAC. I think the important thing is that because I'm a little bit more white hat, I guess, and I'm a little bit more risk averse, I'm all about creating a brand and having your site be a brand. So there was someone in my audience from that talk who was about tips and giving really good tips on his site, and he became the tipster for his particular niche. And that can be what you need to become a brand, something unique or special that means that people will come to you, but also a well-designed site, a reason to be. Don't just put up garbage, but have a reason to be something unique. So I'm going to pick on you, Barry. There's a guy in the audience who has a website called Premiership Tips. And if you go to his website, and I give this example later on, it looks like a good site, well designed, well put together, really interesting content. There's a reason to go. And then there's other things like Texas Hold'em Poker Tips Online.co. Useless. Churn and burn site. It's ugly. It doesn't look good. There's no reason. It adds no value. So for me, it's expensive. It's now more expensive. But if you're a brand and you have a reason for being and you add value, then you can more easily attract links because you can do stuff that enables you to attract the links. So, but I think my talk is up somewhere, surely. If it's not, I'll give it away.
I'm sure you can find it online somewhere on the LAC site. but there's a nice differentiation that you're making there with the quality of the content on the site versus obviously your turn and burn sites and what you can and can't do for outreach programs for each. Well, now let's give Christopher a chance to be a black hat expert. I'm sure you'll get a lot of questions from the rest of our panel, or indeed, if the audience would like to send anything to the screen or raise your hand, feel free to do that too. So, Christopher, let's get you some questions. Gentlemen, ladies.
Do you want me to go? Do you guys have nothing? Like no questions
He
for
makes
Black
a
Hat?
big claim to be the black hat expert on the panel. Now you have lots to ask him, I'm sure.
In terms of what you consider to be manipulative black hatty type stuff, what do you consider to be things that are still sensible to do in the current climate?
Injecting links with PHP to a server, getting a link. That's like one of the big black hat stuff nowadays. Exploiting the PHP server to like get posts. It's like really simple, but people don't have security on their sites.
Wait, whoa.
Which is 2 years custodial sentence under the misuse of computers.
Are you suggesting that you should actually...
No. First of all, when you build
Let's
links...
just roll this back here
First
just
of all,
a little bit.
when you do black hat and dirty links, never build to your money domain. That's like the first rule of link building black hat. Never build to your money domain. Always do tier link building. Probably third or fourth links should be black hat links. Automatically programs running building links to you every single day on various sites. Like focus on you. Don't build any Chinese links, even though the penalty should not go through the domains as hard. But yeah.
So hacking.
Not hacking. Exploiting is a very little part of it, but there's so many programs out there that can build links for you. It's not good links. You could set it to build medium good links. Some of you might know XRocket, GSA, Search Engine Ranker, like so bulk backlink builders, tons of stuff. Not all of them are good links. Most of them are bad links. But if you use them in a tier link building structure, they will work for you.
So, Christoph, you just talked a little bit about passing rank. Now, he's got a tiered system, which would seem contrary to some of the slides that you have where you're saying he's doing the most black hat thing possible. But even linking 3 or 4 tiers down, do you think he's still creating a very dangerous situation for his money site?
I would say that takes a lot. Yeah, the example that I gave was from an actual redirect from an old brand name domain, where basically all the links were there and all the shitty links were there as well. I think what Christoph is talking about is a much more diverse system where a lot of small little domains have a couple of the link power and possibly also the penalization there. And I have not seen a case where such a tiered system has basically transferred penalties, also because it's way too complex to research in most cases. Yeah? My example was more from the rebranding. The company was Home24 that I gave the example, and they had, in Germany, I think it was Wohnzimmer.de, or they had some other, they had keyword domains with the exact match names in the domains that they spammed to hell, and then redirected, let's say, a 20 into. But they redirected those so they wouldn't see all the backlinks in some cases. What you suggest is to still have links going on.
Still have a wall between the money domain and the potential bad links is other sites that makes the tier link building.
So from a technical point of view, in terms of the 301, 302 passing the penalty, my belief is that 301, 302 doesn't pass the penalty. What I suspect may have happened is that the ownership of that domain in GSC was the same for the two things, and somebody manually applied the penalty across. If you've got a situation where you've got whatever style of link building you've got further down, tiers down, I don't believe that if you 301 that through, that the penalty will hop through those 301s to get to you. However, I still don't think that necessarily is a great idea to do, but I think the risk is
Well, why is
low.
it not a great idea? If it's not going to pass the penalty, why isn't it a good idea? Sounds like a good idea.
One, it's illegal. I mean, my background is black hat link building. This is how you end up with a business cleaning up links. You know, I I was in the volume link building business. And I'm not disputing that it works. I think it does work very well. I think that is an area you've got to be extremely careful of, because it isn't just Google that can come and knock on your door.
The point is, when another thing to add, when you're building these tier link building, if you want to make it really correct, having something, not a private blog network, but something similar that you run your links through allows you to, if you one day get a penalty, to cut the link to your site, and the links will not point at your site anymore. Which, with the new Penguin, which we're actually is on the program, the real-time algorithm, like when you cut the link, you should go back up in hours, which is also an exciting case. So if you do a lot of links on a domain you already have that links to your money domain, you can cut it instantly once you get the penalty, which is also something you can test with. I've been doing it a lot, and it works great.
Paul and Christoph, do you agree? Could you get back up? Are you back up in an hour when you're cutting off? Because Paul, you seem to shake your head a bit.
Well, I think it depends on how quickly the domains are crawled. The way that the new Penguin real time works is that the page that has the effect of Penguin applied to it, when that is recrawled, the spam signals that are for the links pointing at it are recalculated back in. It doesn't necessarily mean that the links that are pointing into that page are then recrawled themselves. They're independently crawled during the normal crawl that Google has. So it can take some time for those spam signals to back up and produce. That's why we've not seen, as a result of real-time Penguin being implemented, big drops and big gains. It is a slow thing based on the overall crawl rate of the link graph across the internet as a whole.
Okay, I saw there were some audit questions from the audience. Can we get the slide up? Is there any Slido questions that came through? Not yet, so let's do live questions.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to point out something like obvious, but if anyone's listening and thinking of doing like really dodgy link building, the infrastructural cost of maintaining separate accounts in GSC and analytics and RP logins, it becomes exponential the more diverse your tier structure is. So however clever you're going to be with keeping sites away, for anyone who hasn't done this a lot, unless you're cleverer with hiding your RP and how you log into everything, you're going to get caught very, very, very fast.
Yeah, and Google won't take it just for the IP. They'll go all the way to the MAC address of the router that was signing up for it. Back in the day when I was an AdSense spammer, they were closing my accounts based on I could VPN and they would still close the account.
Good point, Mark. And I saw some hands on the other side of the room as well, didn't I?
Hi, guys. When you talked about the 301, I had a website, a very well-known website that crashed due to Penguin. And I used an SEO company, and they just changed the domain and done the 301. We got all the ranking back for a month, and then the penalty just followed us on. And it took me 4 years and becoming a LinkResearchTools expert with Christoph Kemper to remove that myself. So when we talk, I know it doesn't work as well as it did do, but I'm more gone from black hat to pure white hat. No, you said, Christopher, where you're going on about doing black and the tiered structure and the whole cost involved. If you've got, like, majority of people here whose sites have already been penalised, why would you fight fire with fire? Because it's only just going to be a short-term thing, isn't it?
What do you mean, fight fire by fire?
All right, different analogy. You've got a site that's been penalised and you're trying to clean it up. And then someone like yourself or another company comes along and says, I've got an idea, why don't you do tiered link building as you'll get all your ranking back? And all that'll happen is you'll get the ranking for 3 months and then you'll just drop further.
Does it work? Is it okay? Is it very low?
Does what, sir?
Does the microphone work? Okay, cool. Well, the point is that when you do a black hat or a tier structure, which doesn't necessarily have to be black hat, but when you do a tier structure of your link building, having the last wall between your money domain and the start of the tier link building, having that control of that link allows you to cut the link instantly, getting it recrawled by Google, and then the cut from the penalized site and your domain is actually broken. And that means that all the tier linking you've been doing are broken as well from that exact moment.
It could, even if you'd done that, it would still take months and months and months.
Not if you cut the first line
of the tier.
of the tier. If you
But then
cut
you'd still have to get that website recrawled.
the first
with
tier,
details,
yes,
yeah.
the first tier. So that's the way. Also, when you talk about changing domains, having a penalized domain, redirecting it to a new one will just tell Google that, oh, we just changed to this, give me the penalty. Just change the domain and drop the other one. Don't redirect anything. So that's my advice. I've tried it multiple times.
Quick and nimble. Any more questions right now? Okay, raise your hands at any time. So, let's ask some more of our rock stars. Paul, Christoph, they're up. Would you, Christopher and Judith, fire away? They're talking about link audits and penalties. So whatever you want to talk about with link auditing and penalties, these are the guys.
So as far as auditing goes, obviously I've had to do a few. What would you recommend for our affiliates in the audience who might be concerned that they're not ranking as well as they should be for their money terms, and they're concerned that some of their old links or something like that in the past might have hurt them? What should they be doing in order to make sure that their money domain, their money site, isn't being harmed by any bad links? What should our affiliate audience be doing?
Do you want to do the selling in of why that's important, and I'll do the practicality of how you do it and why?
Yeah. Okay, so the question is basically, I stop ranking, or I rank a lot less for important keywords.
Maybe it's just a concern. They don't know whether or not
maybe
they've
it's just a
been
concern.
They're just concerned that they're not ranking as well as they should be.
They don't feel that they're where they should be.
Yes,
What
yeah,
they
yeah.
see elsewhere.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I would start. When you do a backlink audit, of course, if you have millions of links, that's one thing. But I would start with a question: what are these terms that I'm concerned about, and track them down in my actual analytics to find out if these actually had a change in, well, not maybe the rankings, but more important, the traffic that I get from Google on that. And then try to pinpoint links related to that in my backlink profile. And this is what I said. If you have a backlink profile of 17 million links, and you only look at 500,000 of them, if you only look at 3% of your backlinks, how can you do that? How can you actually say, well, we did a backlink audit and found that you don't have any risky links for these keywords. These super important keywords don't have any risky links. You cannot say that if you don't look at a full backlink profile. There is no top-level approach to say, oh, I found 1%, because a sample is usually not representative. We don't have all the information for that. Yeah? So this is what I would start with, to actually look at our backlinks, but take the full picture, or try to approach that and prioritize that in the audit.
In terms of the practical sense of doing that, get at least 2 data sources if you can. So GSC and Majestic, or GSC and Ahrefs, or all 3 if you can, or more if you've got them. Combine that into one data set, and then when you're actually doing the audit process, you can look at one link per referring domain in terms of being able to make a decision. You may want to drill further into that when you get to that to look at it. So if you've got 17 million links, and we've had customers with 100 million link plus from tens of thousands of referring domains, they will look at those referring domains one by one and make a decision. It's important to get an understanding of the entire link profile, its risk profile, so how likely it is that you're going to get to a situation that Google may apply a penalty, but also with Real-Time Penguin to have a think about how many of those links are likely to be still passing some value, because Real-Time Penguin will be removing the value from a significant percentage of links that have been done for SEO value previously. So it's important to understand what you've actually got, how much risk you've got, and what actual power you've got, and then to concentrate on trying to improve that situation.
Makes a lot of sense. Christopher, do you have one too?
So when people in the audience are trying to rank for a specific keyword, what types of anchor text should they go for when they're doing their link audit? What should they look for?
All the variations of that. Yeah. I mean, going hardcore on one keyword is possible. And I have a case in the software business where a company has 50% of the backlinks with one money anchor, and not variations. One, it's 50% the same thing of what I see, including JavaScript links, of course. We discussed that, which might be the trick in this game. But this is a rare exception that I've found. Usually you have variations of keywords, yeah? And this is not so common and not so easy in gambling because you're so head keyword loaded. But I would take a bucket of keywords that would influence that, maybe even synonyms. I mean, that still depends on the website's backlink profile, and there's no one size fits all. But I would broaden the reach a little bit.
I think it's important. I think it's important to realise that anchor text is still a hugely important part of the relevance of that link in terms of its power to rank. However, anchor text is also one of the things that Google look very closely at with Penguin and with when the application of manual action. So to push that too hard puts every link carries some risk. So you've got to do the risk and reward balance as you're deciding what you're going to do, and that will depend on a project by project basis.
You said maybe synonyms. Why do you say maybe and not yes synonyms or no not synonyms?
It depends how much you have from the original keywords already. I was thinking about clients and maybe take this as a public service announcement, because these keywords, these money keywords, got a higher risk, and and traditionally you use those to push it. Somehow in the industry, since Penguin, part of this Penguin shock is that there are agencies and SEO experts recommending to not have these money keywords in their links at all, like zero. So there are companies who deleted these links, disavowed these links, or changed them to brand. 100% of them. So I've seen backlink profiles with zero money keyword links, zero in there. And this is why I would say, okay, let's
So
see if
you
there
think
are
that looks very unnatural as well, is what you're saying?
Exactly. It is unnatural. If you have a shop for red cars,
It's not just unnatural. You're not going to rank.
Yeah.
Full stop.
And you won't rank. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Brilliant. Do we have any audience questions to follow on with that? Well, that was a pretty cool experiment. So thank you for trying that journey. Did we have a question? Did you see one? What, did I miss one? You've got keen eyes. Normally you have candy. I don't know what. I'm upset we don't have candy this time. I actually wanted some. That's why I came up with all these questions.
Over you?
Hey, I'm this is Nick Porter. I'm first-time affiliate, and I'm really novice at link building, any of it. But if I acquire a well-known, well-ranking domain that was previous to the gambling space, and now I'm going to restart it, I've done that, and I'm going to make it more brand. Where should I start in the audit to make sure that it's not that there's nothing wrong with it in terms of I'm starting off in a deficit with Google and the searches. What should be my first step?
Well, the job number one, if you're restarting a domain, is if you change the content considerably, you run the risk of Google resetting all of the link value for that domain in total.
It's been years since this was
It doesn't matter. They will reset the link equity for
Okay.
it. So think about what was there previously. Try and make sure that the theme of the site is similar to the theme that it was before, at least partially. Then look at the link profile that you've got. You can get that from Majestic, from Ahrefs, somewhere, anywhere else. Have a think about those links and spend some time looking through them and understanding the intent behind why the links were placed in the first place. So Google penalizes you and degrades you for intent. They're looking to try and determine what you were trying to manipulate, and they're trying to penalize you for the manipulation. If you see a lot of manipulation, you're going to have to do a full audit and you're going to have to do a disavow. If you don't do that, you run the risk of either being suppressed in your rankings before you start or not getting anywhere to start off with anyway.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Actually, you could go to archive.com, check out the latest edition of it, copy it, wait a month, change the front page text. There you go.
And then you've got a copy. And one more question over here.
Yeah. Hello. I've got a question regarding topical relevance, and I was wondering whether you guys think that Google is focusing more on topical relevance after Penguin 4. I mean, if you understand what I mean, yeah? Oh,
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that it's got any different because of Penguin. I think that Google is headed towards being much better at understanding relevancy, both in co-occurrence, so the text around the link, and in the link itself. Plus, they're also, in terms of synonyms, thinking about getting a lot better at deriving what the reason for the search was, and then trying to give you the result that you want. So that sort of blows apart our old school thinking of keyword research and everything else, down to thinking actually we need to think about what the user's looking for. I never thought I'd say that, but that is the way that we're headed, unfortunately. Yeah. Particularly with the natural language searching that you're getting via Google Home and via mobile first and all the rest of the stuff that's coming in 2017.
There's a good example of synonym links or anchor text. What if you want to buy a new phone? That could also be you want to buy a new mobile. And if you could get those two anchor texts in, that's relevancy right there.
Would you think that Google's got a similar system to Majestic when like their topical relevance system? You think they've got the same internally for PageRank, topical PageRank?
They've probably had that for 10 years in the style as Majestic implemented it, which is great. But it's not at the level as in the example given here with the synonym knowledge and all this semantic relations is something that has been talked about for many years also. To answer the question, Penguin 4 didn't change anything about how the search engine works or values links in general. I think what they basically just did is they upgraded the infrastructure to be able to calculate and crawl a lot faster and a lot more and recalculate all that stuff. It's not like PageRank was basically just one metric to calculate. They have all these different signals to recalculate all the time. So this reminds me a little bit like the caffeine update, I don't know, in 2007 or something, where suddenly updates would go faster. And besides that, they probably just, got all these link seller lists imported again and reviewed some of their internal assumptions. Yeah?
Penguin 4 puts link quality at the center of what you need to be able to concentrate on. Link quality is now baked into the core algorithm. It's not an external thing that they run. Yeah. It is the most important thing. And now we have a situation where we know that some links contribute towards ranking, some links contribute towards reaching a threshold and getting a penalty, and some links have no equity at all. And it's understanding how much of that you've got left, and that is the game now. It's link quality that we need to concentrate on.
We'll talk about semantics a little bit. I have a quick question. I just picked up an Amazon Echo. It's pretty cool. I don't know what I'm going to do with it other than ask it to tell me jokes and sing songs for me. But it's kind of cool. And, of course, Google's got theirs coming out. And you've got Siri already for many, many years. How is that changing the way we're looking for semantic search?
It's changing the way that Google... There is a fantastic article on Moz, and I never thought I'd say that either, by Dr. Pete about keyword research in 2017, which I strongly advise people to go and have a look at. And it talks about Google getting very good at understanding the intent behind the search. So that if you go and say, I want to look for a mobile phone, then being able to expand that out to be able to understand all of the different intents behind that, and then deliver you a search result as a result of going through that process. And the natural language side of searching just enhances that even further.
So voice search means there's only one who gets the traffic, the number one.
Yeah.
I want to order chili pizza. There you go. If you're number two, you don't get the order because he picks the first result.
Well, you got your Amazon to give you a pizza. That's great. I got like washing powder sent 6 times by accident.
6 times, impressive. But
your
your whites are very white.
Yeah, exactly.
They are.
You can't get your Echo to Google either, can you? Your Echo won't Google either. It'll only Bing.
Yeah, the Echo will only send me washing powder apparently.
Yeah, but it can't. You cannot when you search on it. It only searches on Bing, doesn't it, Echo?
Yeah. Well, actually, it just goes to Amazon.
Yeah, but if you can't go to that, it defaults out to Bing. Yeah.
Yeah, on Bing.
Yeah. One of the things that I looked at, because as a food blogger, I go to Christmas in July, and Amazon had Pantry and Prime and several other iterations of food. Right. And I was like, well, I can see a day when I'm in the kitchen baking something and I'm missing baking powder, and I say, Alexa, add baking powder to my list. Or their example was toilet paper. I'll let you think about that instant delivery one.
I just want to know what you're suggesting for people for Christmas hampers if they need toilet paper after.
Well,
The curry Christmas.
extreme baking. But their example was instant delivery for toilet paper. But who's the brand that gets that money? Morrison's has done the hookup with the Amazon for delivery of food and groceries, but who's the brand? Is it Andrex? Is it Cushell? Who's the brand that's getting the toilet paper? And beer and wine. Who's the brand? That's what I think, and that's the number one ranking issue.
Yep.
Is if you're not ranking number one, then you might be nowhere.
I see it as a very, very major game changer. We had a question over on this
There's
side.
a quick one. You need to mark up your text in order for Google Home to pick you as the result speaking out loud. You need to mark up your text as you will show. Does any of you know position 0 in Google? Like that's the top snippet. That's what Google. So when you Google something on the Google Home, hey, how's the weather today? What should I wear Friday? It takes the position 0 answer and gives you that. And have you seen Quora, which is like a huge site with all random knowledge? They're always position 0 because they've marked up the text correctly. And that's why Google Home and hopefully Alexa at some point takes that answer and gives you it. So you have to mark up your text.
So your markup and metadata become much more important. We had a question on this side that I didn't address before. Who raised their hand on this side? Is it still relevant?
My question is, how should we rate link relevancy? What do you think about metric as a number of referrals which you get from the link? Is it a good metric?
The amount of referrals?
Yeah, number of referrals which you get from the link. Is it a good metric for ranking the relevancy?
How many clicks the link it goes to your page?
Yeah.
Well, Google says it has something to do, but no, I don't care about it. No.
So
as long as the link you put on the page is relevant for the content you're about to jump to, and the text on the site where the link is, then you're more than fine.
Okay, so even if I get some links and I have no traffic from them, they can be still very useful, right?
It can, and because this is one of the lower priorities of the metrics you need to count on, yeah. But Google says that when you look at the top 10 SERP, when more clicking on number 4 than number 3, it should jump over. At least that's what they say some years ago. So I'm not sure that counts for linking from site to site, but probably not. Don't use your time on this. Don't spend your time on it.
I guess I'm a little old-fashioned because I've been in online for 20 years now. If your links are not sending you any traffic, and I don't know, I'm thinking relevancy of links and the reason behind the link. If they're not sending you traffic, why have you placed the link? I KPI all my links on traffic that's relevant to my client.
Google knows what traffic's going through that. They've got Chrome, they've got analytics. They know that. It's arguable whether that's providing any serious push towards the rankings, but it's certainly something that they are aware of. So
could it hurt his site in a way? Let's say he was on a page and he had a cloaked link or a not easy to find link, and other links on that page with similar keywords were getting a lot of traffic. Would that then push him down because Google would say your link is useless, no one likes your site?
No, but hidden links are contrary to Google's webmaster guidelines,
sure,
as pertaining to link schemes. So if you have too many of them, it's a risk.
But I think an important point here regarding the link that sends traffic. That is a link that sends you what you actually want from Google. It's 5 steps ahead. Why build links that don't have traffic to push your website up in the rankings to get the traffic if that link sends you real people already? Then forget about the SEO and Google and all these search engines and Facebook and that crap, and just do more of that if that actually are visitors that buy stuff from you or sign up for a casino through your affiliate link or whatever. Yeah, that's the thinking. And whenever you get real traffic, converting traffic through a link, it's good. So I would say that's even an out of jail card for any kind of crap link. Whatever our systems and tools and software things says about the risk of a link, if it is a link that gives you traffic, then yes, then keep it. Oh my God. Otherwise you would lose that.
So I'm going to end on a good Slido question that we've gotten across. and I hope it's going to somewhat divide the panel a little bit. And it's about PBNs. I'd like to just start by asking Judith, just describe a PBN, because I know in some of our previous sessions we were talking PBN, and some of the people in the audience weren't familiar with what the private blog network is.
I guess there are different types of private blog networks as well. So ultimately, you want an untraceable one that's been built by scratch, by hand. That's something that Irish Wonder and I were speaking about last year at LAC. It's about ideally a series of controlled sites that you control links on to your site that are not leaving a footprint, so you can't tell that they're not organic links that are relevant to your money site, but that are that first tier of firewall around your site. So you're not directly linking to your money site, you're linking to this group of blogs, and then they're linking to you. So it's a safe, footprint-free, carefully constructed series of sites that do this, which is not inexpensive. So if you're building this kind of a structure, you've obviously got a heavy money site. So it's not something that necessarily our affiliates would be engaging in, but it's a good quality, if done correctly, a good quality way of establishing a series of relevant sites to your money site that will then pass links and traffic to your money site. But ultimately, what we want is traffic, converting traffic.
So a series of link sites that you control that, according to Google, is...
No, that you can control links on, not necessarily that you control.
That
So
Google
somebody
will not
else might
see
have
as
built it
yours
for
or
you.
related to the main site.
Yeah.
Well, the question is this. Would you recommend spamming a PBN with 1,000s of domains and then disavowing them?
Would I recommend that?
That's the question that we've gotten from Slido. Should we be sending tons and tons of traffic to your PBN, and then it works for a while, and then I guess, typical black,
If
it
you
works
send
for a while.
tons of traffic,
then
yeah,
you
I'm
shoot
in
it
love
down.
with you. Send me lots of relevant converting traffic.
But then you have horrible domains linking to you, and you're eventually going to get a penalty.
don't send thousands of bad links. But if you're going to send thousands of relevant, qualified, converting traffic to my
Well, I guess you're
my
going to get a
PBN
mixture,
is-
aren't you? I mean, you're going to buy just tons and tons and tons, see what happens.
Yeah,
but
I
hopefully
know.
use that PBN to protect yourself.
No, I would never. If I've spent that much money building the PBN, I'm not going to then throw shit links at it.
Is that a recommendation from all of you?
Yeah.
PBNs are a significant risk in 2017, I think, and it depends on the definition again of PBN. PBN, if it's a blog network or a network of sites that you have an automated system by which you can place the links on all of them, that is a huge risk because Google is very good at tracking those things down and burning them. I know from personal experience because I used to own one. And if you are talking about a PBN in terms of somebody who has access to the relationships with lots of different sites that you can place links via that person as a broker, that is significantly less risky, but still every link carries some risk.
Christoph.
Actually, just last weekend, I saw Barry Schwartz on Search Engine Roundtable talk about shakeups and PBNs and PBN crackdown. And do we have a new Penguin update? I don't know. I think they just updated and tweaked a little bit. And because they can, they do. They just wiped out another couple thousand domains or so out of...
PBNs are on the radar now.
Exactly,
They're definitely
PBNs on the radar. The PBN is now also a street name for paid links, if you want. Yeah, there are PBN networks builders or whatever you call it. It's like the old TextLink ad thing, except bigger. Yeah, it's like it's too public. And if it has a name, every link network that has a name, that has a brand name, is too popular already.
And almost every PBN that you go to will think that they're being careful enough to survive. They're never being careful enough to survive.
Google makes a habit out of making jokes about these claims.
Yeah.
Oh, we did everything that Google doesn't find us.
I thought I was being careful and I had 900 or so gone.
Yeah.
So a final question, because we're a little bit over, but I just want to really quickly ask everyone a final question as to what they think, or what do you think the next big Google update or change might be in 2017 that you're going to advise your clients to either go for or stay away from? Just one thing, and we'll be a little terse. We don't need to go into the details.
So I work with a lot of clients, and right now I'm telling all of them that if their websites are not mobile first, then they must immediately rebuild. Period. If your website doesn't work on mobile, you're fucked. Sorry, you're going to not benefit from the shed loads of people that use their mobile devices to search. It's as much to do with Google as just human beings. Like, I spend most of my time on my mobile. I very rarely open my laptop now. If you're not mobile first, I go from your site to someone else's.
Sure.
Well, yeah, responsive is probably gonna be 2017. Google is saying that they will change, like this, the way you search will be priority for mobile first. So yeah, mobile responsiveness, internal link building, the structure of your site, the user experience of your site, and then of course links and relevancy of links. That's, as Christoph's shirts are saying, like if you have the same content and structure as your competitors, what's going to make the difference? Links. It's the only thing.
I agree that mobile is a huge thing for 2017. I also think that, as I said previously, link quality is now central to the way that Google determines what it's going to deliver to you. And I think link quality over 2017 is going to get a lot harder to understand and go after.
Yeah, I think, especially starting in 2017, they actually started last year, it's going to get fun again with Google, because what they did was basically a time machine back 10 years ago when all these delays and all these filters they implemented. Who of you remembers the term sandbox? A website being sandbox. Hey, I have this new domain and it doesn't rank for 6 months. That was one of the filters. That goes back to psychological experiments where they have people change the temperature on a refrigerator, and they just want to drive SEOs nuts with that also. And with the real-time penguin, now it's possible that you do all kinds of things, all kinds of funny link experiments, tries, positive or negative, and get the results. You see what happens. And this is the age of the return of SEO tests. And actually there are SEO tests and SEO experiment clubs or membership areas coming up in the market already, because that's possible again without losing all your hair. It's fun. You can try it, you can learn from it, and you can make money, right? Too late for us.
Too late
for us, but we're seeing this new age.
You know, buy a second domain, test on that one, implement on the other one later.
I would buy a dozen or a couple dozen. You know, all the domains that you use for PBNs, you can also build out and recover from the archives as the original website, and then you suddenly get calls for the Philadelphia Museum to your phone, which could be a problem. But those are, you know, domains that you can use for your tests, yeah, and maybe burn them or maybe not, yeah. That's the thing. But you get faster feedback, and all these experiments basically revive the SEO community and the original element of SEO, not following what Google says, but what Google does. Yeah, and yeah, this is made possible with the real-time penguin now again, I'd say.
Yeah, like you said, it makes it fun again. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our panel.